Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, I'm going to be going through some of the best questions that you guys submitted to me over in the VIP Discord. These questions can be very helpful to loads of you guys, not just the people asking the questions. So make sure to listen up. Also, smash a like on the video if you like these types of videos where we discuss all sorts of things, all sorts of broad questions related to crypto, exit strategy, portfolio management, all those different things. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want to have your questions answered and featured on another video, as well as get a personal portfolio review and see my own personal buy and sell alerts, check out the VIP group sale. Save 20 at checkout. Link is in the description. So I've selected a few of these questions submitted to me into my VIP Discord. The ones that are not answered in this video, they'll be answered in an exclusive separate video. Okay, but we'll go through some of the best ones for this public video. So the first question we have on the screen right here, can you give us a 5-year plan on how to become a millionaire from today's prices on alts, low to mid-range investment? So by low to mid-range investment, it's relatively vague. We don't necessarily know how much money you're talking about. Are you talking about $1,000 or $2,000 like when I started? Or you may be talking about $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, right? It's quite a vague broad range that we could be looking at. But let's just assume you're talking around $10,000, something like that. I would say the main goal is to make 100K to 200K this bull run. If you can do that this bull run with relatively strong coins, okay, let's say you've got $10,000, you want to make 100K, you want to make 200K, you'd probably be looking at coins around the level of Kaspa, Sui, Tau, and then maybe you want some, higher risk coins, the likes of Say. Maybe even you could go down to coins like Peak, or coins in the kind of 200 rank region, coins like Arweave, coins like Beam. Those could be the types of cryptos you'd be looking at to make that 10 to 20x potentially. But your goal should always be to see the bigger picture. Okay, you're talking about a 5-year plan. This is how people should think. They shouldn't be thinking about, oh, I need to make $1 million in the next month. It's unsustainable. You're probably going to get wrecked. Slow and steady wins the race. It's about setting the building blocks earlier on to get to those, millions or billions or whatever you're talking about. Okay. And in this instance, we're talking to get to $1 million from maybe 10K, 20K, something like that. Now, I really agree with Mark here, who said your goal should be to obtain 300K, then buy 10 Bitcoin during the bear market when it drops to 30K, and then sell 10 Bitcoin when it reaches 100K next bull run. I mean, it sounds too good to be true. Maybe it is. Maybe Bitcoin doesn't go as low as 30K in the bear market. Who knows? Usually Bitcoin does retrace by around 80% or so in a bear market. And considering this bear market coming up next year is in accordance with the end of the 18.6-year cycle, the end of the housing cycle, the end of the land cycle, the end of the stock market cycle, it would make a lot of sense if the crash was exceptionally brutal this time around. So what would the plan be? The plan would be to make a nice kind of 10x in the next few months with some quality blue chips. You guys know the coins already, Ondo, Sui, Kaspa, those types of coins. And then you want to buy Bitcoin heavily in the bear market and then maybe get other quality coins. Imagine buying Sui in the bear market, for example, right? People last bear market, they bought Solana super cheap. So we see how low Solana went during the 2022 bear market. It went to $8. Okay, $8. And then it went all the way up. We check its all-time high to 294. That is ridiculous. Those types of gains you can make by simply buying a blue chip coin in a bear market is going to be the same next time around. So rather than Solana, maybe it's Sui. Okay, you could buy Sui in the bear market, 90%, 95% of the all-time high price. And then you ride it up to the all-time high and you take profits. The real money in crypto, my friends, is made during the first year from the bear market low to the next high. That's where the real money is made. Most of the money I've made this cycle happened in 2023. The AI rally, gaming coins rebounding, that's where loads of the money was made. After that, yeah, sure, you can make additional money, you can make great gains, but the real money, the easy money, the fast money, it's made on the relief rally from the bear market. So your plan really, if you're trying to become a millionaire in a 5-year period, would be to make the most out of this bull run without going too risky. Don't all or nothing it. Slow and steady wins the race. Make a nice 10x, get out, hold cash, maybe even get some interest on it, buy back in the bear market, much lower prices, and just ride them up to all-time highs and then get out, and you're probably at your million. Okay, next question here is about Kaspa, and he says, if one held Kaspa long-term, I mean real long-term, 3 to 5 years, is it safe to say that 8 cents for Kaspa now in years' time would be a similar investment as the early days buying of Bitcoin? Okay, so he's basically saying, is it safe to say that buying Kaspa now is like buying Bitcoin at $100, right? Something like that. And I would say, no, it's not safe to say that because Kaspa and Bitcoin are not the same. The crypto market now is extremely competitive. There is no guarantee that Kaspa will do a Bitcoin. There's no guarantee that it'll even do an Ethereum. Obviously, there's a chance. It's a quality coin. The fundamentals are great. It solves a trilemma. But it's not as safe and simple as that. You're asking me if it's safe. I would say it's not safe, objectively. This is a hyper-competitive market. There's tons of competition. There's tons of things that could also go wrong for a coin. Without me trying to FUD, anything can go wrong for a coin. Okay? You could have a founder step down, like what happened with Polkadot. That took a lot of the kind of momentum away from Polkadot. You could have price suppression, arguably like what XRP had for many years. You could have regulatory issues like what Monero has had. There's so many different things that can happen to a coin, which could potentially hinder its growth and potentially hinder it from fulfilling its complete and utter potential. And I think the potential for Kaspa is probably one of the highest. It could potentially go to the top 5 one day. Whether it will or not, we'll have to wait and see. And I would say it's pretty risky unless you can afford to lose a lot of that money, throwing all your money into Kaspa and holding it for a 5-year period. I would say it's much better to try and sell it when Bitcoin tops out cyclically, and then try and buy it when Bitcoin looks bottomed out cyclically. Because whether you like it or not, Kaspa will still follow Bitcoin to a large degree. And my plan with Kaspa is to sell it in the bull market this year and buy back in, if all goes well during the bear, at much lower prices. And not only is that safer in terms of protecting you from massive loss in a bear market, but it also gives you reflection, peace of mind. During the bear market, you can watch, you can sit back, you can watch what happens. And if you're happy with the development, if you're happy with the ecosystem, if you're happy with everything like that, you can buy back in the bear market. I don't really like holding cryptos for more than a year or two. The only one I would do that for is Bitcoin. And maybe you can call me a Bitcoin maxi, but I'm just sharing you my opinions. If you want something to hold long term, go buy Bitcoin, go buy gold, go buy real estate. But I wouldn't be holding any coin, especially a coin outside the top 10, for 3 to 5 years. I'm not saying it won't do well. We could look back at this video in 5 years' time and Kaspa's at $100. Kaspa's at $50. And I wouldn't necessarily be wrong either, because I'm saying there will be a bear market and it's better to buy it in the bear market because you'll make more gains. The same can be said about Bitcoin, by the way. If you bought Bitcoin here, let's just say 7K, 6K, I'm not going to look at the exact low. And then you sold up here, 48K. And then you bought back in down here, 17K. And then you sold up here, 97K. You know, we're just giving rough numbers here. You would have drastically outperformed the hodler had you been buying based on, top and bottom indicators. And I'm not going to make it sound easy because it's not. But it's not a coincidence. My average on Bitcoin was $16,000. Okay. I bought heavily during the absolute bottom because there was many signs that it was the bottom. And if you're a pretty good trader, you can detect top and bottom signals. And rather than just DCAing and hodling, you can actually time the highs and the lows to an extent. You're never going to be perfect. Now that's with Bitcoin, a solid long-term hold, which I have a bag, which I'm just holding forever pretty much, right? Got a bit of my Bitcoin, 20%. It's in a cold storage wallet. I'm not touching it. So that's kind of my opinion on multi-cycle holding. You can do it if you want. The only coin I'd do it for is Bitcoin. And even still, you can make a lot more money if you're timing the highs and the lows. But that won't be the case forever. Eventually, the cycle will break and Bitcoin will just enter a prolonged bull run, kind of like gold. But while it works, you might as well take advantage of the cycles. All right, we got another question here by President Raygun. At what percentage down would you have to be on a coin for you to call it a loss and move on? So at what point do you cut your losses and move on? This is a very vague and broad question, which doesn't have a clear objective answer. Okay. People always look for exact answers and exact figures. And it's kind of wrong to do that, right? I remember people were saying, yeah, I'm going to set my take profits on Bitcoin 4 years before the bull run, and I'm going to sell it at this, sell it at that, sell it at that. But so many things can change that can alter the context. And I would say context is way more important than just having a set rule for everything. There is no set rule on how much you need to be down in order to cut losses. It depends on the coin itself. If you're holding a quality coin like Bitcoin and you're down 70% in a bear market, yeah, maybe you shouldn't cut your losses. Maybe you should hold it and ride it back up for the next bull run. But if you're holding a coin where the fundamentals are no longer what they were, then yeah, cut the losses. So it all depends on the fundamentals. It all depends on the context. There is no arbitrary number. There is no random number I can give you. It's based on the coin itself. If the fundamentals are strong and looking good, you hold it. If they're getting worse, you sell it. It's that simple. Okay, there's been coins where I've been in a loss on, and I just cut the losses and I moved on. That coin then dumped another 90%. So it's based on me thinking that coin is reaching its complete exhaustion. So if you're looking at a coin in your portfolio and you think that coin is no longer good or no longer has the potential it once did, you should cut your losses. It's that simple. But if that coin still looks good and you're in a loss, hold it. All right. It all depends on the context and how the coin actually looks. And my belief is, if you look at your pie chart, if you look at your portfolio and you're not bullish on every single coin in that portfolio, you should get rid of the ones you're not bullish on. Because what's the point in holding them if you're not bullish on them? You should always have the best possible portfolio you can have. And every single month or so, I look at my portfolio, I do a review. And if there's a coin in the portfolio I'm not as bullish on as I used to be, I'll cut the losses, I'll move on. You can call me a flip-flop, but it served me very, very well doing that in crypto. Because once a coin is dead, it is dead. There's no coming back a lot of the time. All right, final question here. Hey, Archie, what would be an example of a good exit strategy? Like sell Y% of your bag at a 2x and then sell Z at a 5x for large caps and memes. Okay, so we got another question kind of looking at an arbitrary figure. Look, guys, I don't know why people always are searching for exact figures, exact rules, exact exit strategies. You can do that. That's fine. Some people like a regimental black and white robotic exit strategy or a DCA strategy. I buy every Thursday at, 5% of my income. I buy on that. I don't like that. Okay. Because that is just robotic. I like to use context and I like to make decisions based on the time. I like to be adaptable. If all of a sudden Trump came out and said, we're selling gold, we're buying a ton of Bitcoin, the whole paradigm of this cycle would change. The same way if the opposite happened, if Trump came and said, yeah, we're selling our strategic reserve now, we're buying gold instead, the whole paradigm would change. So it's always based on the present. I'm always looking at the present. I'm never setting things a year in advance, 2 years in advance, and then, implementing a regimental strategy like that. My exit strategy, in a very overly simplistic version, is to look at Bitcoin. When I see the Bitcoin top indicators, I sell altcoins. And I'm going to show you some examples here of why Bitcoin should be the main thing you're looking at in order to take profits on altcoins. Let's take a look at Bitcoin and let's take a look at Solana. When did Bitcoin top out last cycle? It was in November 2021. When did Solana top out last cycle? November 2021. Okay, pretty much exact to the T. They both topped around the same time. Let's pick another coin. Let's go for a completely random one and pick Maker. Okay, and look at this. when did it top out? Okay, it topped out in May, this one. So not exact with Bitcoin. But what happened around May and April? Bitcoin had the first top, basically a double top. A lot of the coins topped out during the first top. A lot of the coins topped out during the second top. Look at another random coin. PancakeSwap we're on. Take a look at the all-time chart. When did this one top out? Again, April. So it topped out in accordance with the first high. And by the way, during that first high on Bitcoin, there was loads of sell signals flashing. Okay, there was a ton. If you look at RSIs, if you look at loads of different things, that 64K in April flashed a bunch of sell signals. At least it did for me. And that's why I was taking profits on Bitcoin during the April run-up, not just the November run-up. We take a look at another one, Flow. Okay, I have no idea when these things topped. I can't remember. But if we take a look at this one, it topped in April 14th, I think was the all-time high. Sorry, April 5th. When was the Bitcoin first high? April 14th. Okay. And it had a really close high April 14th, basically a double top. What you need to realize is altcoins are very closely attached to Bitcoin. And last cycle, I would say the stronger altcoins, they held up with Bitcoin on the second high, and they topped out in November. The less strong altcoins, they topped out in April. The point is, Bitcoin had two tops, basically the same, basically a double top. I would guess that 90% of altcoins to 95% of altcoins topped out within these 2 months, April and November. 90%. Maybe some topped out in December, some topped out in January, but the vast majority would have topped out in those 2 months. And that is why I would argue the same type of thing should be taken into consideration this cycle. Whenever Bitcoin tops out, you will see most altcoins top out around the same month. And let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that 109K January 20th was the high. Just hypothetically. I'm not saying it is. I don't believe it is, blah, blah, blah. But let's just say, hypothetically, the January 20th high was the all-time high for Bitcoin. Let's use the same example we used before, Solana. When was Solana's all-time high? January 19th. 1 day away. It correlates very closely. So there's no point me looking at 20 different altcoins and charting all of those constantly when I can just look at Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin looks like it's getting exhausted, that is the time for me to start exiting out of altcoins. Yeah, maybe there'll be a few days delay or a few days lag between Bitcoin topping and altcoin topping. But I know that I'm very close to the ballpark and I'm probably going to be taking big profits. And if you want to see exactly my Bitcoin take profit levels and the charts that I'm looking at and the fib levels and all of that, go join the VIP. I actually posted a VIP live stream just yesterday where I discussed this very topic. I looked at the Bitcoin chart, I looked at fib levels, I looked at RSI levels, and I shared it all in that video/stream. So if you want to see that, check out the VIP. There's a very key level for Bitcoin that to me looks like it could be a potential top signal. All right, so that wraps up today's video. Hopefully you got a lot of value from it. Smash a like on the video if you did. Also, go and join the VIP group if you want to see my buy alerts, if you want to see my sell alerts, and if you want a 24/7 active Discord community where people are constantly sharing alpha, constantly sharing projects, go and join the VIP. There is a discount code still available, SAVE20 at checkout. Once Bitcoin goes into the $90,000 range, I'll be getting rid of this discount because everyone, for some reason, starts flooding in once the price on Bitcoin is higher. So I'm giving you guys the opportunity to join now rather than joining at a later date. And therefore, you don't get as much out of the group as what you do if you join earlier. So appreciate you watching, guys. See you guys in my next video. Goodbye.